It's 6 o'clock in the morning, and pilot John Niendorf is on his way to work. He lives in a little piece of heaven, San Juan Island, north of Puget Sound, Washington State. He's commuting 7 hours to his base in Los Angeles, more than 1,000 miles from home.
I've driven through Los Angeles freeways. It's taken me two and a half hours to get to work sometimes. When you live in a place like this, it's hard to complain about the commute.
From the ferry, Niendorf drives through Seattle.
We're actually making really good time.
To Seattle-Tacoma Airport.
I need a pilot license, airline ID, and passport.
Okay.
Niendorf then hitches a ride on an Alaska Airlines flight to LAX. No charge, space permitting. It's how many pilots in the U.S. get to work.
So 7 hours later, here we are in Los Angeles. Not too bad, not having to drive, letting somebody else do the driving. Pretty nice way to get here, actually.
But he won't be jetting off to Paris or Shanghai. For John Niendorf, the supposed glamour of being a commercial airline pilot ends where the runway begins. This is the aircraft Niendorf is flying, a Saab 340. It's what they still call a puddle jumper, a 34-seat twin prop. Niendorf is with American Eagle, American Airlines regional service, with shorter routes and smaller planes. And today, he'll be making short hops up and down the California coast, and a lot of them. Like most pilots flying for Eagle, Niendorf has always dreamed of being called up to the big leagues, the main line, as American Airlines is known. He has 10 years' experience. So why is he still in the minors? The reason is 9/11. As the economy slowed and American cut flights, fewer pilots were needed, and everyone at Eagle was essentially frozen. For Niendorf and his co-pilot, Shannon Ekdahl, it was a bitter pill. 9/11 changed a lot of things.
Yes.
Right? It changed the economics, it changed the culture. What did it change for you?
I guess my expectations, there was always that expectation that, the career progression would continue to move rapidly, and it really kind of brought things to a stop for everybody, really.
That disappointment came with a price for Niendorf and his fellow Eagle pilots. They make just a fraction of what mainline pilots make, and they don't get a pension. Starting salary for a first officer flying the Saab 340 is, get this, $22.89 an hour. And that's for only the time they're spending at the controls of the plane, which is about 20 hours a week. A first-year flight officer makes less than $25,000 a year. The traditional thinking of being an airline pilot, right, was always glamorous, flight benefits, second homes, right?
Yeah.
I'm waiting.
Not at all. Yeah, you always think it's going to be glamorous. And now that you're here, it's not at all what you expected, but you don't do it for the money. I think you do it because you love it.
You gotta love it to put in the day we did with this crew. It starts at the little picturesque airport in Santa Barbara. Niendorf, Ekdahl, and flight attendant Kimmy Pemberton and their passengers depart for Los Angeles at 2 p.m. and hit the ground 35 minutes later at LAX. Unload passengers and bags a little over an hour later after a quick tire change, reload, and take off up the California coast for Monterey. The passengers we spoke to were coming from all over the U.S. and even Latin America. For them, Eagle is all about convenience.
I like the smaller airports. I fly a lot. I travel 2 or 3 or 4 times a month.
It's a little noisy, which the earplugs help.
I had no trouble getting comfortable, but I was worn out after taking a red-eye the night before and a Transcon flight earlier in the day. The flights may be short and the planes small, but if American Eagle were an airline unto itself, it would be the nation's 9th largest carrier. They have 1,800 flights a day on a fleet of 300 aircraft, but only a handful are the prop planes. The majority are larger, sleeker regional jets like this one, with pilots who make upwards of $90,000 a year. This jet, which holds 70 passengers, is about to depart LA for Fayetteville, Arkansas, 1,400 miles away. It's a route put in for Walmart to bring suppliers in from Asia. It's one example of how Eagle has grown into more than just a feeder, hauling much longer stretches than the ones that John Niendorf flies.
Reported American Eagle Flight 3032.
From Monterey, it's back to LA, the third hop of the day. After a visual inspection she performs before each flight, Shannon Ekdahl pilots the plane to LA. She's 26, a Southern California native, who, says her flight attendant mom, wanted to fly since she was a small child.
Shannon always wanted to go to the air show. The Blue Angels always came down. Her dad took her every year
At 16, her father bought her a flight lesson.
And when she came down, she said, I know what I want to do the rest of my life.
At 6:29 p.m., the crew is back on the ground at LAX. Another half-hour turnaround, and then it's off to San Diego for a quick stop and a bite to eat. 4 down, 2 to go.
2 more to go. That's right.
We're already past the halfway point, so it's good.
Yeah.
Trim some power to go. Squawk is what we got.
Captain John Niendorf has aviation in his blood, too. His grandfather flew in the Army Air Corps during World War II, flying supplies over the hump, the Himalayas from India to China. And when Niendorf and his wife Tess bought a lot on San Juan Island and started to build his dream home, they ended up right near the airport.
To me, it was almost kind of a selling point because we could actually sit out on our deck and watch the planes fly by.
Flight number 3056, service to Los Angeles.
On leg number 5, back to LA, this family is on the way home to Cleveland from vacation. The twin props may be hard on the ears, but they're easy on the kids.
I think they like all the planes though, but they enjoy prop planes too. He likes the propellers.
I like them spinning.
Just after 10 p.m., the crew is back again in LA. They have an hour. Time for a quick run to the pilot's lounge.
I live off frozen food. It's kind of exciting.
It's 11 at night, and they still have one more leg, back to Santa Barbara. Thankfully, it's just a 23-minute flight.
It's 11:35 right now.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, and the day's done.
Thank you. Nice.
The last of their 6 flights has landed. In one day, they've logged 1,100 miles, and they've been on the job for 12 hours. It's midnight by the time the crew calls it a day, and they'll do it all over again tomorrow and the next day. Maybe not the glamorous life they had in mind, but the next best thing.